Welcome back to the Fantasy Grimoire podcast. And today, I can't believe I'm saying this. Welcome to Parker, Lennox, and Bree, Greenwich. Did I say that correctly? Greenwich?
You did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now, before we get into all things regarding the Sundered Realms universe, I do want to have a bit of a disclaimer. There will be spoilers. If you have not read the series, this is your turn to pause, go read the series, and then come back and listen to the episode. If I look at your website and I quote, two platonic soulmates who haven't left each other's side since they were 19, what made you decide to, you look at each other one day and be like, hey, let's write what we now know as Riftborn? Like, talk us through that sequence of events.
That's more similar to what happened than you know.
Yeah.
That really is. Like, we were in the middle, or we were nearing the end of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And we were in the process of writing our character backstories for our next campaign so that we can give him to the DM and he could interweave them through the plot. And so we were spiraling over the phone one day about ideas for our backstories because we each had written them, but we were talking more about like what he would do with them, like in his overarching plot. And so we came up with such cool ideas. We were like, this should be a book.
And then like 10 hours on the phone later, we were like, we had an entire universe talked out. So yeah. And we're like, okay, well now we have to do it, right?
I'm speaking from experience here, but I know that taking that chance on yourself in a written format, it's one of the scariest yet most rewarding experiences in your life. I mean, my husband sometimes goes to me, he's like, you're a bit of a sucker for punishment. Like, you freak out when you write the book, but then you don't want to stop writing the book. And I can imagine it's the same for you guys.
Yes, yeah, especially through Riftborn, we, we're like, are we actually going to do this? Because both of us had like started writing things in the past and it never really like just panned out. And so we're like, are we actually going to finish it? And we're like, no, we're going to, like, we're gonna do it. And so
there's a lot of breaks in between, a lot of uncertainty of whether this was just one of those hobbies we started and was gonna like fizzle out, but we always came back to it.
I'm just reading between the lines here, no pun intended. You guys have the most incredible chemistry. So, like, have you ever had a disagreement with, like, how do you approach plot points? Whose name went first? Like, how do you work that out together?
The name thing was really just what sounded better rolling off the tongue. So that's what we decided.
But we don't have many disagreements. We always joke to say that we are the same person. But if there is a disagreement, it's usually minor and we come to a compromise like pretty easily. I think that we're usually on the same page most of the time, which is very helpful, especially when writing such a, expanded universe.
Yeah. Never anything big,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like, I want this character's hair to be blonde and I want this character's hair to be dark.
Right. Or if it's me, it's like, can they kiss now? And then Parker's like, no, we have to make them beg for it.
Kind of get Parker's point there.
Yep.
But at the same time, I am impatient as fuck. I don't know if you guys have read the Kindred Saga by Payne Cole. I still stand by saying that is one of the slowest snowbirds I have ever read in my life. By the time it got to Luther and DM getting their freak on, I was like, thank God. I'm about to spontaneously combust here.
Yeah.
I read the first book and it was very slow burn, and so I've heard that the rest of the series turns out like that too. So I can imagine. I know what happened.
Yeah.
Trying to avoid the fan art and character art and stuff. So
I want to bring it back to this baby, the Ascended, which started this whole episode. This book has gone viral, and correct me if I'm wrong, the recommended reading order is Riftborn, Duskbound, and then the Ascended because of the extended universe connection. Now, going viral is something each author wishes for. We're going to be honest about that. But at the same time, I can imagine that it's not all sunshine and roses. There's both positives and negatives to this going viral sensation. In your experience as an author, co-authors, can you maybe share some of those experiences with us?
I think we've always felt the pressure to make sure that the next book we put out is better than the last one. And I don't think that pressure was that intense until our audience widened by such a great degree. And now I think we're really feeling that. When we were writing The Ascended, we wondered if we could ever top it. Like we could feel that it was different and that it was our best work to date. So thinking about writing a book that's better than that one is very
intimidating.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
My editor said to me recently, because I had a similar feeling to that, because I was like, shit, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. That was the thought in my head. And I loved how she said, I can't compare your two books. It's like two different series of the Vampire Diaries, because that's one of my comps. You loved season 2 because you met Klaus, the big bad, and you wanted to hate him, but you couldn't. But then you loved season 6 because you met Kai, the psycho, and you wanted to hate him, but you couldn't. So she's like, you love them for different reasons. But it's I found it really helped me as well, because I had a mini meltdown. Like I went like full on cry. I was like, this is shit. I'm deleting everything. I'm never writing again. And I think that's where editors they really come in with their superpowers. They talk you off the ledge because like they know you better than anyone else. So I just thought I'd share that from
I love that. That's incredible advice.
Yes.
Yeah, I joke with my editor that next to my husband, she's my most important relationship, and she's married to me now. I want to touch a little more on The Ascended. You recently shared that you got 1 million KU page reads in a day. Now, I have no data to back that up, but I'm pretty sure you've just broken a record with that. But we also know it's not easy to achieve that kind of page reads. So I'm imagining there's a few things that you guys are doing behind the scenes in terms of marketing, promo, collabs. Why don't you talk us through what that looks like for you?
I'd say the main thing is just trying to get our book in as many hands as possible. And we usually don't do it, saying like, read this and give us a review. It's really just, here's our book, read it when you have the time, and we just kind of hope for the best. And so I would say a lot of it does have to do with our readers and them being kind enough to make posts about it and spread the word. And yeah, that's really a lot of it. And then of course Parker draws some incredible character art of the characters.
So wait, Descended, that was you, Parker? You drew. Oh, so wait, you're writing and you're drawing all that. That's actually incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, I can't draw to save my life.
Well, I will say I did not ever think I could draw until I tried digital art with the iPad, and I think I don't have the patience for the technicality of like charcoal and paper or paint or anything like that. But when you can erase things, and I'm a graphic designer, so doing things in different layers is like how I create. So it was surprising to me too, but I always kind of thought if I could erase anything I needed, that maybe I could learn to draw like in a digital space.
I've actually seen a lot of authors start trying their hands at this as well. But I mean, just with you saying that you're a graphic designer, we both know it doesn't just happen overnight. It comes with a lot of practice. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I can imagine just off the back of the pressure statement that I'm seeing a lot of readers compare your universe to someone like SJM's. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, most romantasy authors are comping their work to SJMs, but I have never seen it used as religiously by so many influencers in one breath. What are your thoughts on the comparison?
I mean, for me, just an honor, because she's such a household name. And so, yeah, to be in anyone's like thoughts, like while reading our book, like saying that it could be, the next SJM universe or something like that. Obviously, our wildest dreams to have that kind of readership.
It's incredible.
There's also the level of, for me, I like overanalyze everything. So, and I try to justify things, and I'm like, okay, so they're saying that because it's interconnected, so
yeah,
my mind
that could also
justifies it as that, like, oh, that's why they're saying that, because there's not, I'm sure there's tons of series that are, but there's like, ours is like going viral right now. So that's what they're comparing it to. And so it's hard for my brain to imagine they're comparing it for any other reason than that, even though, like, clearly Bree has a different experience.
So I am going to respectfully disagree there and give you my opinion there. Not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I never caught the Akatar moment when it became a huge sensation. I read it afterwards, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, it wasn't my vibe. I was like, it's fine, but Feyre irritates the shit out of me. She's a whiny little bitch. I am a Nesta girl through and through, just because of how layered she was. And I don't think she deserves half the hate that she gets in the series.
I could agree with that.
I'm more of a Throne of Glass girly, believe it or not, because I love the action and just the little bit of romance layered in between that. Now, I have read, they say that I'm about halfway through Riftborn right now because I'm reading a few books. And I can tell you to your face that people are comping that because you're that good. And that's not me trying to stroke your ego. That's not me, anything like that. Your writing is phenomenal. Your characters are phenomenal. I don't know if Hannah told you, but I have never purposely read a book slower because I didn't want it to end. And when I got my physical copy, I was like, oh, damn, that's thick. I didn't realize how thick it was until I got it.
Thank you so much.
That really means a lot. It does. I mean,
And
it's just incredible to hear.
that's also one of the reasons why I started this podcast. Sure, I'm an author as well, but I got tired of seeing the same authors being recommended over and over again. I am seeing so many indie authors. You guys are still indie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like, it's fine if you try it. I just wanted to like go in with the right angle there. And I'm seeing so many incredible indie authors around there that maybe don't get the same platform because they don't write romantasy. Recently, I had a guest on. She wrote an epic fantasy, but it was more focused on the sisterhood than like a romance or anything. And one of my first comments on her episode was, I've been looking for a book about female friendship. I was like, yes, that's why I do what I do. Just connecting everyone so that they can discover all these incredible authors out there.
I love that. And you were just so lovely and such a wonderful voice to be connecting the community like that. And yeah, I'm obsessed and so honored to be here.
That means a lot. Thank you. Now, I want to talk a few theories, which I've never done before as well. I mean, sure, I will build for my own books. That's easy. But like trying to figure someone else's out, that is hard. True or false? The Ascended happens before Riftborn in the Sundered Realms universe timeline. Because I have a theory that the next duology you will give us will bridge the 36-year gap you mentioned in the Ascended.
We can answer the first thing of yes, it is chronologically before Riftborn and Duskbound.
Yes.
And then for the other theory, you'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll take it. At the time of recording this episode, it is mid-November, and I finished The Ascended, I would say mid-October. I have a lot of thoughts, clearly, but one of the things that really stood out to me about your take on Trials is how unique it was. Because sure, we see Trials and romantasy all the time. I would even go so far as to say it is a little bit overdone at times, but yours was so fresh because Taste, am I saying it correctly? Taste, is that how, or
So-
Tice?
Everyone says it that way, but we intended it to be Theus.
Okay, well, since you're the authors, we're going to go with your version.
Okay.
Thea's. So what I liked is that she didn't get everything magically handed to her on a silver platter. Like, she made mistakes, specifically in Trial 2, where Thatcher had to like come bail her out almost because she was about to lose. Now, what was your inspiration behind writing the Trials? Because I feel like you guys also feel like Trials are a bit overdone.
So as we kept hearing, as we were writing,
Yes.
I swear it was like while we were plotting this book, and in the early stages of writing, we kept getting TikTok videos popping up being like, the things I'm over, like my hot takes, like I'm so over Trials. And we just kept sending them to each other being like, we've built our whole book around.
Yeah. And so we were kind of like, okay, we have to really make these stand out. And we already thought, getting to use like two different gods and kind of meshing their powers together, like what would that be? And we also knew we wanted to super add like, horror elements in some way, not make it just so, like these like super horror things in a beautiful setting so that it would really like contrast and seem, different and unique in that way.
Yeah.
It shows because I can tell you I have not read trials like this. And shit, I read a lot in the fantasy genre. I don't discriminate, just as long as it's fantasy. I don't care if it's romantasy, horror, go for it. I am a basic bitch. I love Fourth Wing. I don't care what anyone says because you know what? You're reading Fourth Wing for a good time.
Exactly.
Okay?
It's reading is for fun and escapism.
And if you're reading it for a literary masterpiece, maybe you're in the wrong genre. And for me, like when I was reading the trials, I was like, I had literally just finished a book with trials and it's fine, but I want to move past it. And I was just like, is she going to make it? You guys killed someone in the first 4 chapters. I can't guarantee that any character is going to make it to the end at this rate. So I'm like furiously paging through the book to see how the trials ends. So I think 10 out of 10 for how you guys did that.
Thank you. That was definitely one of our main goals for this book.
I mean, constantly the trials are what we edited up until the last moment. Like, how can we make this deeper? What's the message behind this trial? Like, does everything connect? Does it hit? Does it need something else? Like, we really, really, really appreciate that because we worked hard on them.
So you guys do Easter eggs, right? Like Easter eggs for the whole universe. So I know for me, there's one Easter egg in one of my books that not a single reader has caught yet. And it's like the most obvious one. Have you guys experienced that where one of your readers has maybe not caught the most obvious Easter egg that you guys have left us?
So much.
Up until the Ascended, I think some people have started to guess it now. But when it was just Riftborn and Dustbound out, we thought it was obvious. The biggest Easter egg, like you said. And we were just shocked that no one's thinking in that direction. We thought we made it so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say what was so obvious about it, but it was
I do want to go back to something you said, Parker, about editing. I know editing is a beast on its own, and I have also edited until the very last moment before I had to hit submit. Now, for you as authors, when do you know that the manuscript is right, where you have to step away from it because you're going to, I almost want to say over edit it?
I don't know if we found the limit.
I don't know if we found, I feel like even now if we were to go back, we would always find something more. And I think that's just the reality of it. Yeah. You have to kind of, I don't know if there's ever like this feeling of like, okay, yeah, besides us just really wanting it to like get in the hands of readers, because we could always keep doing it.
My advice for getting the clearest head to edit, and we don't take this that seriously because we don't do it and we couldn't do it if we tried because we have no patience or willpower either. Terrible combination of things not to have. But that would be to take like 2 or 3 months to just not look at it and then go back and edit it, because sometimes when I say we keep chipping away at things, you can't tell at that point whether it's because that thing is really bad and it doesn't work for the sentence or it doesn't need to be in there, or if you just read it so many times that you hate it.
Yeah.
So like taking that break is always good. And so when we send it off to our editor, we do get that month break where we don't look at it, but it's almost not enough even. Like I can't help but edit while it's at the editor too.
I know, that's the one thing. It's with the editor and you're still making changes and I'm like, Parker.
I know, I can't stop.
I feel like indie authors around the world are nodding their heads and they're like relatable as fuck, because I know with the third book in my series, I drafted it. It started off so strong. And then I got to the end, I'm like, this shit. Like, I hate it. And I've now moved to another manuscript. I'm kind of like letting it sit. And while I'm in the other manuscript, completely different series, might I add, the massive plot issue that I had clicked in my head. I was like, oh my God, serious?
It's crazy how that happens. Like when you just take a step away from something for a second. It's wild. It should be studied.
Right. And then I'm like, authors, we actually sound a little bit psycho because we're like, oh, but the characters showed me the answer. I'm like, the characters come from my fucking head. What? And I'm like, well, now the plot is better, and now I'm going to go back to that manuscript, and I'm so excited to write it again because it's a great story. But then I'm like, but what about the plot issue I have on this manuscript? And I know when I go into the other one, so That's a very long way of me saying, I assume this is why you guys don't release in, I almost want to say, complete one series before you release the next, because the break does you well, I'm assuming?
That, and like that is probably a little of that and a little bit of when we discussed how we felt like the overall universe could be read if you were to read it in the, publication order. We felt like sneaking in the Ascended before the ending of Realm Blade just made sense. But for people, we also made sure when we were writing these books that they could be read separately. Like, you can just read the Asumerian duet and you're going to have a completed story. And you can just read the Isbrithian and you'll have a completed story despite the crossovers.
Thank you for pronouncing those series names, because I had no idea how to. I'm going full on fantasy with those ones.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to bring it back to our boy Thatcher. I have to be honest with you. When I first met Thatcher, I was like, okay, we love a great supportive brother. We love that for him. And as his character evolved through the Ascended, I was like, this guy's growing on me. Like, he 100% is growing on me, because he isn't just, hey, I'm here to protect my sister. Like, you see all these other aspects to his personality as well, which I really loved. And then we get to the end, and we've all heard that he is ether as well. Am I saying that correctly? Ether?
It's more like Aether.
Okay.
But that's one of the ones that everyone always says that one. So
I think we're just from the South, and so we're like Thais, Thatcher, Aether. Like, we have like this like Southern twang a little bit with our names.
Well, I love that you made him the primordial power, because I've come to expect from romantasy that it's usually the girl and she's the special snowflake and blah, 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 blah. So that was like a little bit of a bait and switch. Thatcher's the all powerful one. Now, keep in mind, I haven't finished reading Riftborn and Dustbound yet. I am expecting to see another primordial power, because I feel like you guys are setting that up. We need 4 primordial powers. Like, am I on the right track here? Can you tell us anything? That's a no, I'm assuming.
we don't feel solid enough in or for me, I don't feel solid enough in. There's a few different. We know where the direction of the next 2 books that we're writing are going. It's the duet after that I don't want to. We have a few different little ideas that veer off in different directions. So we're just gonna pass on.
Yeah.
And see what they let you, what story they let you tell.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, stay tuned.
We see a lot of books going viral each week. The Ascended has just been one of many recently. I discovered The Ascended because of an influencer's recommendation. What is one book that you would love to see get a little bit more hype from the bookish community?
A book that we've loved recently is Daughter of Stone by B.A. Pepper. I think it came out October 31st, so it's like new, but we had such a great time reading it, and she is like so sweet, like definitely deserves all the recognition and praise.
I don't get to read much when we're in the writing trenches, just because I can't like turn my brain off. So that is the book that like we both read recently, and we just were obsessed with it and thought it was incredible. So that's absolutely the one I would say as well.
I want to chat a little bit outside the Sundered Realms universe for a second. Just chatting to you guys, getting a feeling from you guys. I suspect you have a lot of stories to tell. Can we expect in the future books from you that maybe don't fit into this universe?
I'd say we have so many ideas for so many things, and we're like, where are we going to find the time to write it? Because we know we want to finish the universe, but we have like a gothic romance and even kind of just like a rom-com fantasy, and just kind of like ideas. Like, honestly, they're endless. Sometimes I'll just call Parker and I'm like, I have a new idea, and we're like, so we're going to write this in like 5 years from now.
Right.
Releasing 3 books in a year is a feat for most people. Is this something that you would see yourself doing continuously each year?
I mean, if it was up to us always, that we would definitely be doing that. We are trying to take little minor breaks in between, but not to a great extent. We definitely don't want to lose any like traction or anything like that. For Duskbound, it was kind of inevitable for us to jump right into it, because technically it was our original idea for the Isbrithian trilogy. And so as soon as we finished Riftborn, we were like, okay, we have to get, the rest of this story out. People have to know where we're going with this. And then I would say we took like a few months maybe of a break before starting The Ascended. But when we start writing, like it becomes our every day. We're lucky enough that with our other careers that we get to work from home and basically put all of our focus into writing. So, it's definitely, it becomes our job, like the instead of 8 to 5, it's more like 8 to 7 p.m. And that's all we're doing for, the extended amount of time. Yeah, like months. And so, yeah, we try to give ourselves a little break. But I will say there's like this emptiness that you feel when you finish writing, and you're like, I should be doing more. I need to be doing more. And it's really hard to kind of get off that.
Well, why do you think I have a podcast and books? Because I think the most frustrating thing for me during cancer has been everyone's like, oh, you should rest. I'm like, there's only so much Netflix and books I can read in one day. Like, what else am I supposed to do? I may as well do something productive with my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we agree.
Knowing what you know now as authors, what is one thing you would have done differently? And what is one thing that you're happy to have discovered in your journey as authors?
For me, I feel like it can kind of go back and forth, but like when we started writing Riftborn, we had a really crazy outline. And because we alternated chapters at that point in our writing, and so we had to have this detailed outline explaining like basically a summary of each chapter and what would happen. But I don't think it was until we were about halfway done with Riftborn and maybe even going into writing Duskbound that these plot points we were trying to cover, actually we fully started understanding what they meant. Because like we're big plotters, especially now, but you can't just, I think we went into Riftborn a bit at the beginning thinking, oh, this means this and this means this and this connects and we could do this for this. But like it wasn't until we really got into writing Duskbound that we understood what all these different beats of a story actually represented. And I think it was fun to learn the way that we did, but also if I could change one thing, I would go back and do actually what our PA is doing right now, because she's kind of in the early, Hannah, she's in the early stages of plotting a book and she's just doing all the research and she's asking us for advice and we're doing some classes together and stuff. And like, I think that would have been really valuable to do before we started writing. But you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, didn't know I should do all these things. I always thought of writing in this romantic way where you just start and you tell a whole story. I wasn't thinking about like plot structure or things like that.
I kind of have to follow on that. That if we had just known a little bit more when writing our debut, and we always have a dream of maybe one day going back and trying to make those changes, because I feel like we really have grown with each book that we've written, and so to be able to apply what we know now to our debut novel, that would be like the one thing that and it's not out of the like realm of possibility.
I love that you guys touched on that, because my debut, what a train wreck. I was just like, hey, Bookstagram, here's a book. I did no marketing. I was just like, I think it's cool. I can write a book. Here's a book. And then I like started seeing how other authors were doing this, because I'm really impulsive. I mean, hell, I was like, maybe I should start a podcast. Two weeks later, I had a podcast. I'm that girl.
I think we're very similar people.
Yeah, we're very impulsive.
And at the same time, to quote you there, Parker, I fully agree with you, because even though I did it in a train wreck kind of way, I wouldn't be the author I am now if I hadn't done it that way. And discovered my hook is like, I write CW inspired, the 2010 era.
I love it.
And I would never have gotten to that if I hadn't just been like, hey, here's my books kind of situation. So in that sense, I have no regrets, but I also do agree with you. I tend to research a little bit more now than I used to. I just like jump in. Like with my current manuscript, I had to research mental institutions. because yes, my book is partially set in a mental institution. I was like, I don't know what goes on there. Where me from 2 years ago, I would have just made something up and run with it. But now growth has like taught me stop, spend a bit of time understanding your possibilities here, and then continue writing. And as we start wrapping up, I want to ask, what can we expect next from, I want to say Parker and Bree, but I realize everyone knows you as Greenwich and Lennox. So what can we expect next from you?
What we're working on now and what will be coming out next is Realm Blade.
And that will release in 2026?
Yes, that's the goal.
If any listeners, they're vibing with you two and they're like, I want to get stuck into your backlist, I want to support you, what is the best way to connect with you and what is the best way to support you?
Probably just we have our books on our website, and I would say it's even like cheaper to buy through our website and stuff, and it supports us more directly than, you know, going to Amazon or any of the other big box stores.
But we're just really grateful too. Like, I mean, we're just so happy to be in this position, and it's still a little bit unbelievable. It's all happened like really, really fast. I mean, we released in October, so we just like kind of weren't expecting such a whirlwind, and it's hard to put into words how like grateful we feel for it. And we try to stay active on social media. We're not as good as some. We'll have days where we post really and interacting with people, but then we'll like go a week without anything, and then we'll get all these messages. Are you okay? Are you guys okay? So yeah, I can't promise that we'll always be super consistent, but another way to like interact with us is definitely Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, we love when people like send messages and tell us, you know, like theories or just expressing their excitement and stuff. Like, it really does make our day.
I don't know if Hannah told you, I actually noted quotes down from the Ascended. Now, I don't have them on me right now, but I specifically remember Zul had a lot of incredible quotes. I don't annotate. I read most of my things on ebook, and then I get a trophy for my shelf. And I'm just like, your guys' mind is incredible. I don't know where you guys whipped this out, but I can imagine that input or feedback, it goes a long way in motivating you. Because I know the first time for me, when someone told me that one of my books got them out of a book sub, I was like, really?
It's like the most incredible feeling ever.
I was like, fuck the bestseller list. I want more of that.
Exactly.
Chasing that high constantly.
Loyal reader. They rated the first book in the series 5 and then the second book in the series 4. And I was like, I'm devastated. And my husband looks at me and he goes, you do realize that 4 is good, right? And I was like, it's not the point. I was like, as authors, we don't necessarily see the good stuff. We're just so fucking hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We keep going. And where we go, people, they're loving our books. They want more. And then we go, but they didn't like that. We tend to fixate on that.
And that's the one thing you'll think about. Like, you can have all of this praise, and then the one negative thing is like, it can just like burn into your brain. I know.
This is the one thing that cancer has given me this year. Did I tell the best story I can tell? That was a question I had to ask myself. And if the answer is yes, well, I need to learn to live with it. If I needed to tell a better story, well then yes, that is something that I need to go fix immediately. We all know the age-old thing. Not every book is for every reader. Not everyone's gonna like your vibe or your book. But it's hard. It's hard to accept. I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned, but even I sometimes get a moment where I'm like, I was like, what the fuck just happened, kind of thing. So I think I'm getting better at it, but God, you just need practice. And
yes.
But other than that, Parker, Bree, I have loved chatting to you guys. I think I might go so far as to say I'm one of your biggest fangirls. I cannot wait to continue reading your backlist and to just see your journey as you keep releasing these incredible books. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Like, it's been such an honor to be here.